Welcome to our latest MYOB Advanced Insights video on WET Tax. This short insight video is intended as a discussion starter and not a tax briefing. Before making any financial and/or tax decisions, we recommend you consult with an accountant to gain the appropriate advice for your business. In today's WET Tax Insight video, we will be looking at two examples set out by the ATO, a wholesale and retail or cellar door sale. In both examples, we will be using the same inventory item with a single tax category. The difference will be the customer's setup for today's example will have either a cellar door tax zone or a wholesale tax zone. This allows us to maintain one inventory item but cover the two very distinct tax requirements. Let's take a look. Here we have a red wine stock item. As we can see, we can sell it by the dozen, and I've set up a tax category called wine tax category. This simply lists which of the tax IDs are available for that tax category. However, one customer will be listed with a wine wholesale tax zone, which will restrict to just the two tax IDs, while the wine cellar door customer will have a different set of tax IDs. So the first example we're going to use is straight from the ATO website under Wine Equalization Tax Wholesale Sales. We're going to sell a dozen wine at $120. We're going to have a WET component of $34.80 and a GST component of $15.48. If we take a look at our sales order, we simply select the inventory ID. I've selected a unit of measure of dozen at $120, and we can see our tax up the top without going too much further, all lines up. But let's take a look at the tax details tab. This will highlight the GST component and the WET tax component as two separate lines. These can be displayed separately on an invoice or sales order. If I take a look at the second example, which is also from the ATO's website under Wine Equalization Tax, this time under Retail Sales, we're going to have a look at the half price method. Once again, we're going to sell a dozen bottles with a WET tax component this time of $20.30 and the total WET and GST proportion adding up to $140. Let's take a look at the sales order. This time we're using a cellar door customer. I've used that same inventory ID for a dozen, and I can see our order total adds up to the $140 of both WET and GST inclusive. Let's take a look at those tax details. I can see my WET tax component is $20.30 and my GST is calculated correctly. And thanks for watching.